Carmine's first scene is a great way to introduce the character. In the background we have the girls dancing. Lesbian shows, whores, disgusting. And while Tony steals a glance every now and again, I'm being kind, he was gawping at them, Carmine never looks across, as does Johnny Sack. Johnny's phone constantly rings, probably Ginny asking if he's bringing a plate over. The fact that this guy is able to talk as dismissively to Johnny Sack shows how powerful he must be. His talk with Tony is brilliantly written. Carmine reassures Tony, gives him advice, tells him to be a better friend to himself, but he's also telling Tony he's got his number, that he knows everything about him, that he knows he has these spells, that he sees a shrink, something which could get him clipped. As he says, everybody knows. Carmine keeps Tony in check, letting him know he knows his every move, and then gives him a pass on the therapist thing because he values the business relationship between New York and the Sopranos. He's always got this no-nonsense attitude on display, where everything is performative, every compliment or comment is him going through the motions, playing the part, everything is a matter of fact. He's been there, done, and even his thoughts for Junior seem so half-assed.
How's Junior? He's gonna be all right. Tell him he's in our prayers.
He commands an aura of respect through appearances and smart decision-making. Imagine if he did stay while the guys were playing with the ice girls. Imagine one of them bouncing on his wrinkly corpse. The one comment he does go out of the way to make, though, is the classic,
Don doesn't wear shorts.
I think Sopranos fans all know by now this comment was based off something a real mobster told James Gandolfini after watching a scene where Tony cooks in his garden. And after Gandolfini told David Chase, they had it incorporated into the show. It's a classic moment, and they gave the line to the best character they could have given it to, as it encapsulates how low he thinks of Jersey, summed up into a single line. It's pretty funny too. He must have had a lengthy business meeting and leaves it till the last minute to put down Tony with that comment. But I think it was sincere. He was genuinely disgusted and disappointed at the way Tony was carrying himself, the way he is bringing down the idea of a Don, letting the team down. It highlights the differences in class between Jersey and New York yet again, and Carmine says it to Tony with the look of a disappointed father, fitting as he would later say he'd be proud to call Tony a son. He's the only person alive who can make Tony feel like a total idiot kid. There's also another very cool scene early on where Carmine prompts Johnny Sack to tell Tony something, and John lets Tony know that they want money over Tony using inside knowledge from Zellman, who both families share. Tony looks at Carmine, concedes to Johnny that they'll come up with a number, but Carmine doesn't look up once. He doesn't need to. He delegates. He's just so cool. Tony's angry that someone's speaking out of turn, but Carmine isn't angry that Tony hid this incident from him, that he was using Zellman without telling them. His attitude is just, we didn't know, now we do, pay up, end of story. Even where he's sitting, at the head of the table, he looks like a king. You'd never know there were two bosses at this table. He's also sitting facing away from the stairs, when most mobsters would want to sit facing towards the entrance, seeing who comes and goes. He's that high up that he doesn't have to fear from assassins.